outpost in the middle of the Caribbean, a group of scientists are trying to raise a Russian nuclear submarine. They mess up and end up bringing the lost civilization of Atlantis in the process. The people on board the outpost evacuate as a tidal wave approaches. A pair of soldiers, Mike and Mohammed, rescue members of the outpost. When they reach the mainland, they find that the area is under attack by a group of punk raiders. Mike, Mohammed, and the others must survive the wave of raiders under the leadership of Crystal Skull. In 1983, the post-apocalyptic trend was still running wild in Italy. In that year alone, you had Endgame, Bronx Lata Finale, Your Hunter from the Future, 2019, After the Fall of New York, Escape from the Bronx, and Warriors of the Wasteland. What makes the Atlantis Interceptors different is that it takes place in present day with elements of the post-apocalypse as invaders. This is not a futuristic dystopia, which I'm sure made things easier for director Ruggero Deodato. The film does have its moments, certainly better than I remember it when I saw it previously. There is a sick decapitation. The threads of the Atlantean raiders is eye-catching. There are sparse moments of action, but enough to keep the 42nd Street audience satiated. The violence and gore need to be consistent. The Atlantis Interceptors thus offer too little too often. Filming primarily took place in the Philippines, home of the likes of Eddie Romero and Cirio H. Santiago. Directors through the whole spectrum, from Francis Ford Coppola to Bruno Mattei, have used the cheap cinematic real estate of the Philippines to shoot movies. Some establishing shots were taken in Miami, Florida. Blending the two together was seamless thanks to the editing expertise of Vincenzo Tomasi. The crew features a number of familiar faces. Ruggero Deodato offers a lighter experience compared to one of his previous offerings on our program, Cannibal Holocaust. Gino De Rossi handles the makeup effects. Tomasi returns as editor. Maurizio and Guido De Angelis provide the music score under their pseudonym Oliver Onions. At this point, the musical siblings are going for the synth-heavy sound a la Your Hunter from the Future, as opposed to their funk rock sounds for the Polizio Tesci of Enzo G. Castellari. Yet, their music doesn't pop or stand out. Christopher Connolly plays Mike, one of the soldiers that helps the outpost crew. Connolly went back and forth between American television and Italian film. He appeared on Fantasy Island, Simon & Simon, Airwolf, Ironside, Barnaby Jones, and Mannix. In between U.S. gigs, he worked on Lucio Fulci's Manhattan Baby, Castellari's 1990 The Bronx Warriors, and this film, Atlantis Interceptors. Giola Scola was Dr. Kathy Rollins, one of the survivors of the outpost. She had a decent career, but her only other role of note was in the Fulci fantasy film Conquest. Tony King makes another appearance, having been previously seen in Bucktown with Fred the Hammer Williamson and Cannibal Apocalypse with John Saxon. As Muhammad, he plays a good guy and manages to avoid the annoying trope of the black guy dying. Oh, I guess spoiler alert. Between Connolly and King, King is the one clearly having a good time with this goofy post-apocalypse romp. I'm surprised to see Mike Monti actually get a credit for his 2 to 3 minutes of screen time. This guy was the Italian cinema equivalent to Richard Carina. He was always the guy sending the hero off on the missions. Here he plays a guy who was one of the first victims of the Atlantean raiders. His wife gets a dart to the neck, and then he dies off screen shortly after. Michel Sauvé plays one of the outpost survivors. He went on to become an Italian horror luminary thanks to directing the existential horror comedy Cemetery Man. He was also the guy that got his brains ripped out by his zombie girlfriend after she vomits up her guts in Fulci's City of the Living Dead. Atlantis Interceptors is a meager offering from Deodato, who has done films that are more violent and shocking in nature. There's a decent cast of Italian genre cinema regulars. Not the most memorable music by Guido and Maurizio. Far from the worst in the box set so far, but far from the best.